Okay. We're recording right.
This is, you ready? You ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
Yep.
This is Steve and Cedric talking to the band. I'm Steve. What's up,
Hey,
Cedric?
hey, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Facebook, I'm Cedric Hansen. How y'all doing?
Listen, man, we ran into a little technical difficulty today. We were unable to go live. So this has been pre-recorded. So we have a very special show.
Oh,
we
wow.
apologize we apologize for the inconvenience of not seeing us live today, but you are getting a chance to see it. And we have a great show today with the Queen of Soul with us.
Oh, wow.
And so I just want to get through these announcements, man, so we can get right to it.
Yeah, the Queen.
Yeah.
He's
So
in the
listen,
house.
right?
In the house.
Absolutely. So we want you to, if you missed the show, go to our YouTube channel, type in Steve and Cedric talking to the band, and like and subscribe and hit the alert button at the bottom so you get all the alerts when we upload new videos. So make sure you go to YouTube, type in Steve and Cedric talking to the band, like and subscribe. Cedric, what else?
What other we're also on Instagram and Twitter at Steve and Cedric talking to the number 2, the band. That's Steve and Cedric, the number 2, talking to the band, y'all. That's Twitter and Instagram, y'all. Check us out.
Absolutely. So listen, man, we got our very first sponsor, Cedric.
Oh wow, yeah, we do. Yeah, let me reach around here.
Yeah, get that.
Check it out, brother. Check it out.
Listen, man, I tried this last weekend, man. I did some lamb chops on the grill, marinated them with that sauce, brother, and it blessed me, brother. I'm letting you know now. It blessed me.
You better believe it, man. I'm telling you, I put this thing on everything. I put it on fries. I put it on shoulder. I put it on steak. I put it on everything. You can marinate it. You can use it as barbecue sauce. This is some of the greatest barbecue sauce. You know, what's a Sweet Baby Ray's? I threw it away. I started using this.
Threw it away? Well, listen, man, y'all got to go out and get 8 Mildred Southern Style Barbecue Sauce.
Let me tell you.
8 Mildred Southern Style Barbecue Sauce. Go get it.
I'm going to tell you how you get it. You know, first of all, if you want to order it, www.auntmildred. That's the number 10.com. That's www.auntmildred10.com. And if you want to buy it locally, you can call my brother, Steve Hanser, at 815-229-0792. That's 815-229-0792. Y'all got to check this out,
y'all. Go out and get it.
Let me.
Yes, make sure you go out and get
this
it.
around me. Yeah.
Go, yes, sir. Now listen, man, we got a great show. I don't want to prolong the time. Let's get right to it.
Yeah.
She is a 2-time Grammy-winning artist.
Yeah.
I mean, the queen. This is the queen, y'all.
Yeah.
This is the real queen, the real deal, the truth. Let's bring her on right now, Cedric. Get right to this show, man. I've been excited all week.
Bring her
all
on.
Week I've been excited.
I can't wait.
Miss Ann Nesby.
Yeah.
Miss Ann Nesby, come on.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's up, man?
What's up, people?
I see you, Queen. I see you, Queen. boy, we go way back. We go way back. I don't even feel right talking to you without a plate of food in my hand. Because every time I see you, you cooking something good and we eat.
Oh, we out somewhere eating.
Right.
Yes, bam. Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Man, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. And how are you, both of you doing?
We're doing great.
I'm
good. I'm just trying to stay out of the way.
That's right. Man, for real. That's for real.
Eating birds and squirrels.
Yeah.
Yes. How's Dad doing? How's the pastor doing?
Doing well and doing everything he can and thinking about everything he can't.
We want to give a shout out to Pastor Bennett and Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church. Man, we love you. And we're so happy to have you. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Yeah.
I would have it no other way. Glad to be here.
We're so honored to have you, man.
Yes.
Glad.
Yes. We want to get right into it. And I know it's been a while. what have you been doing since the COVID-19 and the quarantine? What new projects are you working on, and what are you doing now musically?
Well, I'm doing some new music here at home, and I'm also I have a food product that's being lined up. It's supposed to begin in April of this year. Then after COVID came in, it stopped it, and it was going to be a part in the Chicago school district and prisons and hospitals. But as soon as COVID clears up, we'll be back on that food product chain. And then also I'm doing a live animated series for a project entitled Moontown Records. And it deals with people that it portrays people that have been trying to be in the industry for long years, trying to break into the industry, and the issues that they come up against, be they young people or older people that have tried for many years.
Wow.
And in fact, I'm playing a character called Miss Ida Mae.
Wow.
Who is
Wow.
interview of a show like yours. The problems that people have, and I give good advice,
Nice.
whether they want to hear it or not.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm also doing online theatrical show entitled Mama's Girls, and it's a part of AARP series where I play Mama. And with a host of girls that are going through the COVID. We deal with issues of illness and senior illnesses and the issues that seniors come up against, such as dementia and diabetes and nursing home issues. So this series that I'm working on, it's going to be dealing with COVID and bipolar disorder.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Really cool,
Wow.
Cool.
You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot.
That's neat.
You're busy.
Yeah. Wow.
You are busy. You are busy. And I want to take you back a little bit and talk about your experience. You know, we go way back, you, Cedric, and myself.
Yeah.
You know, we go all the way back to, I mean, really, I've been listening to your voice over the radio since I can remember. So those of us who live in Rockford, we are very familiar with your voice. You have been a staple. You have been a staple in gospel music.
Yes,
and so, you know, we want to take you back to the Psalms 100 days. You know, back when you joined the group.
That's real stuff right there. That's life stuff right there.
Right. I mean, we traveled up and down the highway. Talk a little bit about what was that experience like for you back then, you know, coming up with us. And I know we were wild and crazy. We were the Time and Prince all put together. Funkadelic, we was all of that. So
listen, it took all of that to make me who I am. I'm telling you right now, because what we did, it was fresh and explosive. And I came on the ship last, actually, and I was there with Psalms 100. We were doing things, as they would say, so fresh and so clean back then. We were ahead of our time. We were futuristic. We had every element of the music right there in the group. We had that old school going on, and Cedric and Stan and Jet would have that new school pumping. Lynn and my hair, Lynn's hair mainly, and my hair colors. And I remember we went to Detroit one year, and Lynn and I were always dressed to the nine. Everybody we went to Detroit. Cedric, do you remember? Y'all remember that one, Stevie?
I sure
We walked up on stage. They were screaming. And they were saying, y'all better sing. And then the girl
Yep. Yep. I know you remember that one, Ann.
It's so wonderful. Hey, Psalms 100 is a part of my life. What are you talking about?
Well, I know
And
that.
I
Wow.
also remember when we went to do the Hawkins
Yep. In
Yes.
Oakland. Yep.
and he was calling us Psalms 2000,
2000. Yep.
futuristic.
Yep.
So, you know,
Yep.
we were ahead of our time and they weren't ready for us.
They wasn't. They wasn't
Right.
ready.
We were
Yeah.
all on Bobby Jones without a record deal. The very
Yes.
first to go
Yes.
on Dr. Bobby Jones' show, television, without a record deal. And
Yep.
he
Yes.
even talked about that for years and years to come, how that we were playing and being fresh and new, and our first time really being on television like that. And we didn't have no problem praising God, no matter where we were.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
With Mike and Joe on them guitars,
Oh, wow.
and
Yes.
Jed Stan and Elwin,
Yes.
you Cedric.
Yeah.
We were there. I mean, we were
Yeah.
right there. They just weren't ready for us.
Yep.
Yes.
I always say
And
that.
then
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we were right there. They called us futuristic, Psalms
Yeah.
100.
So there. Yep.
Yes. Yes.
And we
Yes.
shouted on Bobby Jones' show, and I danced.
Man, it's memorable.
Man,
Definitely
there was certainly some exciting times.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
take us a little bit too, because after that, of course, I left the group in '86 and went
Uh-huh.
off to college. You went on to Minnesota,
Uh-huh.
joined Sounds of Blackness,
Yes.
and I want to know, what was that like, and what was it like for you when you first heard the group on the radio, in prime time? What was that experience like for you?
Well, actually, I was in Minnesota, of course, living in Minnesota. And I was at home. We had the release and everything, and I was at home actually ironing one of my son's clothes, and it was like in the middle of the day. And I was actually watching, I remember the moment, I was watching Donnie Simpson, and they were celebrating Aretha Franklin's birthday.
Wow.
And I had the radio on, low-key radio on, and the station in Minneapolis is the first time I heard it. And they started to play Optimistic, and they started to talk about the lead singer and the Sounds of Blackness. And I had friends at the radio station, so they were carrying on, of course.
Yeah.
And they started playing Optimistic, and I just started screaming, running through the house.
Wow.
Wow.
We're on the radio. It kind of felt like 5 Heartbeats when they first heard their music on the radio. You know how we do.
Yeah.
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 You know who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
pandemonium in the house. So
Wow.
Wow.
I believe it, man.
we were
Wow.
excited, and we were experiencing something that we only dreamed about.
Yeah.
And it was coming into fruition and manifesting itself right before our eyes. So it was exciting.
Wonderful,
Man,
wonderful, wonderful.
that's so crazy, and from there, I mean, you had collaborations with Sting, I mean, Al Green, I mean, Luther Vandross, and Calvin Richardson is one of my favorite singers. I mean,
He's one of my favorites too.
I love Calvin Richardson, and even acting. I mean, Tyler Perry. I mean, Morris Chestnut. I mean, wow. Did you envision yourself, when you were with us? I mean, not with us, but I mean, when you were young and coming up in Rockford, did you envision yourself being at the place where you are now? Did you envision yourself being there?
Well, I always had high hopes, and there was always this one vision even when I was in high school, that I would always say, there was a theme that I always said when I would talk to my friends, because I sang in a little community group, and when I lived in Joliet, grew up in Joliet, Illinois, and we would do talent shows, and and we would dream. I mean, I'm telling you, I would rehearse Gladys Knight backgrounds, Patti LaBelle backgrounds, Shaka Khan backgrounds, Aretha
Wow.
Franklin backgrounds, just in case they let me be a background singer.
Wow.
And the opportunity presented itself. But I always had this one little saying, I'm gonna live a limousine life. I'm gonna be a singer and I'm gonna be jetting around the world. That was always in my mind. I didn't know how I was doing it, but I was speaking it. I was speaking my life into fruition
Wow.
um, by the power of your tongue. You know, the power of life and death is in your tongue, and whatsoever you speak
That's it.
is what you're promoting yourself into. That you have to be careful what you pray for.
Man.
Right,
That's
right,
it.
Yes,
right,
That's
right,
I
it.
get it.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right,
There it is. There it
right,
is.
If,
Wow.
right,
if
right.
you can see it, if you can see it and say it, if you can say it and see it, believe it and receive it, it'll be yours.
Wow.
Mm.
Do you feel that you finally have arrived your talent? You're at the place. Do you feel you're at the place where you want to be at, um, as far as a musician is concerned? Do you feel that you have actually made it? You know, you hear people say, "I made it." Do you feel that you made it?
Absolutely not. I feel like I keep reaching and I keep having a vision in my mind because I think that when we start to feel like we made it, we kind of become complacent. It's like having that nervous butterfly in your stomach before you go on stage. And if you lose that, then you're in trouble because you don't feel like it's an issue that you should give your best and worry about what you're going to do once you get there. And for me, it's always the prayer that God will give me something fresh and new to instill in his people, in that I know that I receive that I'm a vessel of the gift that
Wow.
he's giving me to share, and I want to be able to share it. And sometimes you find yourself on stage and you may feel like, being human, you may feel like, wow, I didn't do anything tonight and I don't feel like it was last time. But every time you go out, you're ministering to someone else. And it may not be the whole audience, but it may be two or three, maybe one that's there that God has you to minister to. And when you come off, everybody's like, oh wow, that was so powerful. So understanding who you are and using your gift to be a blessing, and letting it come from that root, I think what's from the heart will reach the heart.
Man, that's
Wow,
huge, man. That's huge, man. You know,
wow.
I was listening to an interview with Stephanie Mills, and she was talking about, you know, how, you know, the music industry is, you know, as far as you know, how they, black musicians. How do you feel about the music industry right now? You know, as a you know, as a person that's been there for 30 years, as a veteran, as a queen, as a you know,
Right, right.
as somebody that's you know, people aspire to be like, you know. How do you feel?
I feel like there was a moment when the industry felt like it was going into shambles, and that our careers were going down, being driven down into the ground, when the big mergers with companies, and companies started shutting down and being transferred over to, from the record companies that you were part of, over to the mother companies of that small company. It was chaos, and people were unsure of themselves. They were unsure of how we were going to take care of our families, and how we were going to make it, and how were we going to continue the music. with the technology that's going on today, because not everyone was equipped to do techno things. And now we see a light at the end of the tunnel, whereas we're looking at ourselves today online, interviewing Facebook. We never had a vision of Facebook and the internet being a means of supporting our careers and being able to release your own music online and not needing so much a record company to release your music, that you could go straight to the public with your own music, set up a studio in your bathroom.
Man,
To,
wow.
and keep it moving. And if people like it, you're going to make more money than you ever made. Going through the big machine. So streaming and all that, the things that they have available for you to be able to release your own music. And if you don't know how to do it, find somebody, pay somebody. Don't say I don't have no money to do that, because anything worth having is worth working for.
Man.
And not just coming up to people telling them, I can sing. Do you want me to sing for you? Because I can't do anything without anything that's not tangible. Have something in your hand. Go find somebody with a studio. If you can't afford to get one, pay them to record you. Have you a portfolio? Take a picture. Take a nice picture on just a single wall.
Man, that's good.
Get it developed as 8 by 10, and get you a good CD that you can give to somebody when you run into the opportunity to run into somebody at the grocery store, or run into Cedric or Steve that know how to record you and know what to do for you to be able to make it. And be prepared. Keep it with you. Put it in your purse. Don't be there talking about, I know you sing. Can you get on? How can I get you on? I can't vouch for you if I don't know what you can do, and you haven't shown me.
Man.
Those things are important. And a lot of the other thing is being able to understand that this is music business. It's not music, just music glamour, because this is hard work. It's dedicated. It's a craft that you have to dedicate yourself to, and it's not easy, and it's ugly. You have competition. You have early morning, late nights. Hurry up and wait. Your attitude has to be checked at the door, because people would rather have artists that can't sing that great if their personality is great, because they're willing to work with you to get you where you need to be. But your personality, your attitude determines your altitude. I've run into some singing people that have the attitude so bad nobody wants to deal with them. Then you run into people that are striving and working hard and trying to get it, that they give opportunities to, because they know they'll work hard to do it. So being in this industry right now, it's really amazing that I have the testimony that I think I've been working more since the pandemic set in than I was in the last quarter live. And that's how God works. You know how the Bible talks about us being in Goshen when everything else was dead everywhere else, living in God's system as opposed to the world's way of doing things. You get your priorities set, pray and ask God to lead and direct you to what He wants you to do, and be sure that you are at the door when it opens and not standing over at the window trying to force your way in. Because if He makes it, He surely knows the way.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. That is beautiful, man. Wow. I got so much to ask you, man. I'm gonna turn this. I can.
Let's go.
And,
I give you what I got.
Wow.
and give us some of those experiences. Have you had any experiences where it's really been tough since you've been in the industry? Can you share some of those experiences with us?
Absolutely.
Can you share one of those with us?
Oh yeah. In what capacity?
Well, during the time when you're touring, talk about
Well,
touring.
I can give you, I think one of my tough times that I usually share is one of the first songs that Big Jim and I wrote.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We were in Minneapolis and Big Jim had moved down and he was staying with me, and it was a struggle. And a lot of times I think people are afraid of the struggle.
Yeah.
But no pain, no gain.
Man.
If you're afraid to step out on faith, how can you ever know that you can do it?
Man.
We were struggling. Jimmy was living with me. I had an apartment at the time in Minneapolis. And I was like living in a low income housing. And
Wow.
I had like $62 in the bank. We were in recording at the time. I mean, you have to think about all that, because there's a time that even if you get a contract, you have to work. You got to record, and you still have another job that you have to work until you keep your day job, until you fake it till you make it.
Sure, man.
I mean, Big Jim we were there at the house, and I went to get some food, no food in the house. Went to the store, bought some shaved ham, made sandwiches, mayo, and some Lay's potato chips. And I always tell them about how I got that ghetto punch. That ghetto punch, that red punch in the gallon jug.
Yeah, we know.
And I was making, they always tease me. They say I make $5 sandwiches. And I was standing there making the sandwich, and Jimmy was just, you know how he is. He's just doodling on the keyboard, tearing it down. And I was making that sandwich. I gave him his sandwich. I said, Jimmy, I said, you know what? I said, I know this is hard, because, he had come before and then he went back. Because he
I remember.
That he wanted to struggle like that.
Yeah.
And when I gave him his food, I said, Jimmy, I said, you know how much money we had? I said, and here's your sandwich. I said, but I tell you this, it's hard right now. I said, but whatever it takes to make it, we're going all the way.
Wow.
And that's where that song was born from.
Wow.
So that was a hard struggle. If you want to struggle, there it is.
Wow. And you were signed were you signed at that time?
We were signed. We were recording. Wow. And Sounds of Blackness was in the process of doing that project, and wrote that song. I wrote the lyrics. Jimmy did the music. And when we got to rehearsal, and we were talking to Terry Lewis, and we told him we had this song and pulled him off to a side room. And when Jimmy started playing the song, when I started singing it, he said, "Oh, okay, y'all right? Y'all right." Wow. Yeah, we learn it.
Right there.
So,
right
there. So we did that, and they put it on that project. And from then on, when he was working on the project, he would say, "Y'all got anything else? Y'all got anything else y'all want to put up?" So, I mean, we were struggling. We were eating ham sandwiches, turkey sandwiches.
Wow. See, a lot of artists think that, when you sign, you get this big advance check.
Yeah.
And life is all of a sudden, peaches and cream.
Yeah, right.
The struggles are over.
Yeah.
So for you to tell us this, and you're already signed, how does that work?
It's real tough.
How does that work?
Yeah.
Explain to young people how does that work.
By the time you get signed and you've been struggling, you got bills to pay.
That's
You
real
got to
talk.
catch up. I had an opportunity to pick Lionel Richie's brain when he was Flight Time recording with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And we were talking, and he was talking about the beginning of his career, how that he was working that first project they ever did. Um, by the time they got signed and they were all in the house together, and everybody had to have money, had bills for this and bills for that. They're about to get put out, paying the rent and the lights and the water, whatever. By the time they got finished doing that, and enough for people to buy personals, and to be able to, write and record, it was, dry time again, because this industry is either feast or famine. If you're not working, it's famine.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to budget yourself to keep it moving. We were just blessed to be able to be a part of Flight Time and have the studio there, and got the favor of God that Terry Lewis gave us. We had the favor of God working in that I was able to talk to him about living a Christian life, and sometimes he would write things and I would say to him, I love that line, but I can't say that because that's not me and that's not who I represent. And, being able to stand for who you are and not compromise yourself, being true to yourself. He and I talked about this quite a bit too. Be true to yourself, because if you're not singing things that are true to yourself, then other people are not going to feel it either, because you don't even feel it.
You know, that's crazy, man, because you don't remember this, but I remember, once you moved to Minneapolis and you signed with Jam Lewis and stuff like that, and I seen you a little bit later. And you said, "What?" You said, Cedric, I'm just trying to work. That resonated with me. All my life. I'm like, it's working. It's about working. It's about grinding. I'm like, wow, man, that right there, man, was the coolest conversation we had.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about your work ethic. You can't be a stranger or afraid to work and think it's gonna happen with a magic wand, because there are gonna be times that you're tired. You have to be able to take care of your gift. You have a voice, and you have to be able to know that you got to drink water, you got to take vitamins, you got to take care of your craft. So when they call, you're not in there to yeah, forgive me. No, they're not looking for that. They're looking for somebody that's going to be committed and prepared when they cut that machine on, that they can depend on you, that they're not wasting their time and money. And that's what they're looking for. You have to know, that you want to make it. I can share this with you. When Sounds of Blackness went to their first meeting with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, I actually was not a member, a signed member, because I initially went to Minneapolis, went to do with Sounds of Blackness a theatrical play. And I was just coming off Broadway, and I auditioned for a Christmas play without knowing that I was auditioning, because I was friends with Gary. He just asked me to sing an a cappella song for the group, not knowing they were looking for someone to play the mother's role in the Christmas play, which was going to happen 2 weeks later. And I sang for the group, and they were like, "Hey, she could do the job, give her the job." And that was the beginning of me being in Sounds of Blackness, going to visit my sister for Thanksgiving, who had been a part of the group for 10 years before I got there leading. You would hear Sounds of Blackness on artists such as Alexander O'Neal, Prince. Whenever you hear the choral sound, it was Sounds of Blackness, because that Minneapolis sound was, of course, Sounds of Blackness would say they had NAACP banquet. Sounds of Blackness was that opening gospel group that opened during the devotion of that particular banquet or whatever. And then Flight Time would be the dance band, like you guys, Cedric, you know, everybody in the city know that you guys are the go-to group. And, you know, it's the sound of Rockford. You all represent the sound of Rockford. And I mean, even though you're doing stuff everywhere else, you are the go-to. So that's what Flight Time was. And they became friends through that. And when Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis got their big break, they decided to sign Sounds of Blackness. When Janet was there working on her album, they brought her out for, you know, some relaxation and some R&R to get out of the monotony of the studio. You know how you know how I can be just day in, day out in the studio, crushing it. So when they brought her to the show, she was just like, you know, man, y'all got to do this group. There's nothing like this out there. So, you know, when we first got to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis to fall forward, we had our first meeting, and Gary was sort of like, now all of us can't go up there and talk to them. So we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna talk, and we're gonna do the talking, and whoever the founder, we're gonna talk to them. So don't everybody try to come up there with your tapes or whatever, talking to them. And I prayed at home before I came. I put on my pinstripe suit, pulled my hair back in a bun, and I'm like, I'm not gonna bring a tape or anything, but when I represent, I'm gonna represent in a professional fashion. I'm gonna be dressed for business and work. And when I got there, they were talking, and I said, Lord, you tell me when the opportune time is. You provide an opportune time. I said, and if they talk to me, I'm speaking back. And when I was sitting there, and Jimmy and Terry came by and they spoke, they said, how you doing? You know, we heard you with the blah, blah, blah. I heard you singing at the show. We really like your voice and blah, blah, blah. You sound like you've had experience before recording. I said, well, 1 or 2 times, you know. And I said, and I'm no stranger to work. I'm a hard worker. I moved here from Rockford, Illinois, and I'm looking to have a career. And that kind of singing that you heard me do, I've done it on a regular, growing up in church. So my work ethic is already there. And we started talking from there. And that's where my first friendship with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis began, outside of being in Sounds of Blackness. So that was a relationship that I built, where they would talk to me on a personal level when we would come in to rehearse or to record.
Wow, that is awesome, man. And you know,
that's real tough.
I was and I was with you a few years ago, and we were in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes.
You did the Capitol Jazz Fest. And I was with you there, and we were standing on the side of the stage, and Patti LaBelle was performing. And she stopped in the middle of her show, looked to the side of the stage, saw you, literally bowed, and introduced you and brought you on the stage with her.
I see that.
And
ooh.
And I'm telling you, for me, I was like, I mean, we always knew you were big, but that for me was like iconically big. I mean, you were, and literally became an icon in my eyes. I was like,
thank you, Steve.
Tell me, how do you feel knowing that people like Patti LaBelle and other great artists who've been
Oh,
around are literally bowing to you?
Stevie, I always have to give honor to God, in that I stay grounded by knowing that inside of me, I still feel that little girl that grew up in the projects in Joliet, Illinois, and then moving to Rockford after I graduated from high school. Um, who'd ever thought? Who'd ever thought that I would be doing those types of things? And I looked at Patti LaBelle, and as I said, Gladys and Aretha, they were such role models to me. Those were women that when you hear me sing, you probably hear some of the things that they do.
yeah.
And in creating your own artistry, you don't try to imitate other artists, but you kind of infuse some of the things that you learn from them to get your own sound. So when I had an opportunity being a staff writer with Flight Time, I was beginning to write music for my first project, I'm Here For You. And my first song that Jimmy and I had written, Jimmy did the music and I did the lyric. I'm a lyricist more so than anything. And the first song that we had written and taken to Terry Lewis was Right Kind of Lover.
Yeah.
And he was loving it, and excited about it. And when they were getting ready to record Patty, they were going to do, I think, maybe 3 songs for her. And Terry came in and he saw me and Jimmy there, and they're working. We were always working. We never stopped working. And he saw us always being the ones there working, on our own, just coming out there, hanging out to work, making ourselves available.
Wow.
And he came in the room and he said, Queen, Patti LaBelle is coming in and we're trying to pull together some songs for her. He said, that song that you wrote, that Right Kind of Lover, that would be a perfect song for her. He said, I know you wrote that for your own project, for your first song. He said, but I'm gonna give you a lesson, and it's gonna be for free. He said, we want all of our artists to be able to write for yourself, and that's what you're doing, and we're excited about that. He said, but this right here is gonna take you to another level, because it's gonna allow you to have capital to continue to take care of yourself while you're doing your project. It'll give you publicity because you've written for this great legend.
Wow.
And it'll put your name out there before you even hit the scene.
Wow.
So, and it'll give you an opportunity to be in the room with her, to see how she works, see how she thinks, have an opportunity to pick her brain about the industry as a woman. He said, and then to see her work ethic and see what you can use towards your own. And it'll give you publishing, which was something that a lot of our pioneers missed out on, in that in the early years of recording, they were being taken for their publishing, and other people were taking their lifeline that would have took care of their children's children.
So many stories about that. So many stories, so many artists that got.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
Because we had no understanding and no one to teach us that. And it's a great thing. And I share that when I talk to people, when they ask about the business. Keep your publishing as much as you can. When you're first starting out, you have to relinquish some of it. Unfortunately,
yeah,
I did as well. And when you're green and nobody told me this kind of stuff that I'm sharing, and you're green and you're coming in, you're just excited to be in the room. You're not thinking about publishing. You're just trying to get on. You're just trying to get your foot in the door. And you do it for free, because if it's something that you like to do and you had this dream to do it, that is how a lot of record companies steal and take from people that don't have understanding. And they sign you for a little bit money, and take your publishing.
To this day, it still goes on then.
Absolutely. That's why I said this is the music business. It's the music business. It's 80% music and 20% talent. I don't care how you sing. If your business is out of whack, and you jack. And
wow.
And I also talk about the fact that there is, when people come in, even if you can't sing and you've been trying to sing, and maybe that's not your vein, but there is something else that you can do in the music industry as well, something that is needed. Maybe you're an accountant, maybe you're an attorney, aspiring attorney, trying to break into the music business. Maybe you dance. You can fall in there and be a choreographer. Seek out some other options.
That's good stuff.
Teach other people, set you up something to teach other people how to sing until you get there, to build your collateral.
That's
think about other avenues, if you love music, that you can stay on the boat. Because everybody, management, by all means, management, get you a good manager, get you a good attorney, get you a good accountant. Because if you can't count, you lost the battle already.
Man.
And if you get all that big money and then you just blow through it, you ain't paid no taxes, you out. So all of that plays an important role in trying to stay, because you don't make no money on your first project.
Wow.
You hear that? Y'all hear that, Facebook land? Y'all hear this coming from the queen talking. Yeah. Y'all better listen.
Everybody that gets a chance to hear this, I was not making no great big money in a group of 40 people. But it got me in the door. And it was an opportunity for me. It was like a diving board for me. It was a platform. For coming from Rockford, it was a platform for me to get my foot in the door and check your ego.
Wow.
Incredible.
Ego, go to work, get some work.
Incredible.
Join the team.
Wow. And one more question I have, and I just saw you not long ago on BET. They got everybody back together again. How was that for you to be back, with everyone?
It is always a wonderful, wonderful feeling for me to be able to reconnect with my peers, because in the industry, it's important that you network and you keep friends, and that you're kind to people, and you love the brethren, no matter where you are, because it's relationships that take you through this business. So you build bridges. You climb the ladder to success. You don't kick the spokes out, because if you go up, there are times that you come back down. If you have no spokes, as my mother told me, kick all the spokes out going up, you have a hard fall down.
So used to say that a long time ago. So if you have friends, old friends in the business that have helped you through things,
it pays to be able to reconnect with them. And you never know, you see them in one position here going up the ladder, and the next thing you know, here they are. For instance, one instance we had where a young lady was just a receptionist at a major record company. Fast forward maybe 20 years, and she was the vice president of A&R.
Wow.
Wow.
And coming over to our house, still eating my food, you know. Calling me mom, can I get this? And I'm looking at her, you know, with wonderment and saying, we still have this relationship because we made friends. We
That's
made
real.
friends along the way.
That's
so
real.
It's so important, and being able to go back and go to BET and as a group, and the family of Minneapolis Sound.
Yes.
So being
Yes.
able to relive so many memories as you looked around, and
Yes.
all your relationship with different people, you automatically have joy if you had the right kind of personality, and if you were being cool on the way up, then when you get there, it doesn't change. If
Right.
you're true to yourself and kind to people, I mean, sometimes I would come in, you know, like you come in through the kitchen, maybe to get to the stage. They usher you through the kitchen. I'd laugh and talk, speak to the cooks, to the dishwashers, to the janitor.
Straight.
What y'all cooking back there? Y'all serving out here on the I'll make sure I have some of that. When I get ready to leave, they're like, bye, Miss Nesby. We're so glad.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you like, but I want them to know. I want them to know. And that's something that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis instilled in the people that came through their camp, is that they wanted you to always give people the grassroots effect, and where as to where you don't put yourself in prison, where people can't touch you, and realize that if I can do it, if you can do it, it's possible. Kiss the babies. It's almost like
that's a real deal. Yeah.
Kiss the babies, love the people. Well, it's all about what God tells us. Yeah. Love the brethren.
Wow.
That's right.
And they love you
That's
back.
Right.
Wow.
That's right.
So
that's very true.
Able to be there and share and remember the good times of everything you done that was stupid, everything that you did that was successful, and your journey, being able to talk and share and remember this and memories with Sherelle and Alexander. Oh my goodness. It was wonderful.
Good. But we know what? While we on this love train, I'm gonna bring on your number one.
And you know, my kind of lover was about him too.
Really, you wrote it about him?
When I see Patty, I said, "You singing about my man." and I give you another tip.
Yes.
The second verse said, of this weekend, the song "This Weekend" that we did. He wrote the second verse.
Oh wow!
Weekend, I'll be making love to my man.
Wow.
He wrote the verse, and he said, "I sure love that man. Love that man with all of my heart."
Oh boy!
And I can't wait for the weekend to start. Is that me or is that you? We talking about none other than my better half, Mr. Tim.
Mr. Lee.
My manager all these years.
Mr. Lee.
I see you, baby. I see you. What's going on, Tim?
Timmy.
Hey.
Man, Tim, it's so good to see you, brother.
It's good to see you, brother.
It ain't none of this, though.
Oh, we know.
All right, if you know what I mean.
We know.
What does that mean?
You know what that means. I don't want to offend nobody.
Okay.
Tim, Tim, I know this is a music show, but how's the golf game?
Well, you know what? Since COVID's happened, I haven't been able to get out, to play any golf. I've been doing what they call a honeydew list.
Man, me
So
too.
I ain't been
Me
I ain't
too.
been doing nothing but
Oh my God,
I ain't
man.
been doing nothing but working, doing stuff around the house. I ain't even swung a club.
I almost ran out of projects, Tim. I almost ran out of projects.
Oh no, I don't think I'm ever run out. So you must be doing really well, because it's like every day. If it ain't nothing but take the garbage out, it's something.
I'm telling you.
It's something.
But I reward him. I cook for him every day.
Oh, man. Let me start off by saying that the best person in the world to be in quarantine with is my wife.
That's beautiful.
I call her she the world.
That's
Yeah, I believe it.
Her name, you know what I'm saying? Because she's an exceptional cook, and right kind of lover.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Oh,
I'm
Tim.
still in love. I'm still in love.
You know what his name is? You know what his name is?
What's my name?
What's the name?
Solution.
The solution. That's me. Steve can attest to that, though. He can tell you.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I get it. I know. Tim, tell us a little bit about the business, man. I know it's changed a lot, and you're a manager, and you understand the ins and outs. Talk to a lot of young artists coming up. Just what are you looking for? What are managers looking for today in artists?
Well, I mean, really, management or even labels, it's independence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because as far as back when Ann was doing her deals and things like that, when we were doing that, it's a whole different ball game now.
Mm-hmm.
You're the label now.
Mm-hmm.
The artists are the label.
Mm-hmm.
They're the A&R. They're the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They're the promotion. Because we have social media. See, when we were doing Ann's deals, there wasn't social media, or as we know it today.
Mm-hmm.
But today, an artist is going to be able to reach the world with the touch of a button. So it's about being able to be independent and knowing that it's even, I would say, it's even more work, because back then you were on a label, you got an advance, you had a staff with the label.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's still labels out there. You look at Nicki Minaj or artists, the rappers that are out right now,
Mm-hmm.
they'll have a label, they have the machine, but for the better part, artists are independent now. They're the label now.
Yeah.
So you have to take matters into your own hands.
Wow.
Wow. Well, let me ask you something on that line. How do you feel about the music industry? Where is it going now?
Well, I mean, I think I was spoiled because I was with. I call my wife the Michael Jordan of singers. She is the Michael Jordan of singers.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm spoiled because I listen to radio, and I'm like, when we're riding in the car, I'm like, did you hear that? And then I'll say, shoot the producer.
Wow.
They got these kids out here singing, they out of key, they singing flat, they singing sharp, so, it's just like anything goes now. Yeah. So the music's been dumbed down.
Man.
And back in our day, and I was saying this to you all off the record, that artists, I mean, back then, we know who they are. We know who Mays is, Frankie
Yeah.
Beverly and Mays. We
Yeah.
know who Confunction is. We know who Cameo is. We know who Larry Blackman and all those guys were. But today, you might have Nicki Minaj, and then next week you be like,
Patty B.
Expiration date. Yeah.
what's up? You remember that girl? You remember that girl with that big butt? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
What's that
So-
song you recorded? Yeah. Yeah. You, for a person, you know, we all come from Rockford. I love Rockford, man. That's me. You know, I know y'all come from Rockford. How do you feel? You know, what should a aspiring artists do right now to get themselves prepared to be in the music industry? You know, how
Get out of Rockford.
yeah, out of Rockford.
Okay, just kidding. Just
There's
kidding.
a lot of talent here.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We were just talking about that. I was speaking to Tim today about how much talent there is in Rockford, and how those of us that really understand that business, we need to start thinking about trying to pull together and do something to try and corral some of that talent, at least preparing them and giving them some know-how, like first base steps.
Mm, That's
That's
beautiful.
good. That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good.
How about
Tim? Oh, go ahead.
the writing tip? You know, a lot of people don't get into writing, but people that's aspiring to be, you know, songwriters, what steps should they take to try to get their music heard in the music industry?
Well, I mean, as a writer, like Ann often says, work on your craft and be diligent about working on your craft. Don't take it for granted. Don't think it's just going to be voila. You know, it's going to take some work ethic to because every song you write, you know, you're going to write 100 duds, and then you have that one hit. You know, so you can't be resting on your laurels. You got to really, you know, work at your craft and be diligent about it. You know, really put the effort in. And in terms of getting it out there, like I said, you have the internet. It's probably a little harder in terms of trying to get it into the hands of the people that you need to get it into. But in a way it isn't, because you can write a song and say, okay, I'm writing this song for Ann Nesby. Well, you hit her up on social media and say, hey, I got a song. You know, it's just that simple.
Really?
I got a record. Yeah. So,
oh my God, man.
So, you know, in most cases for me, when somebody hits me up, I'm going to listen to their record.
Because we trying to get hits.
You know what I'm saying?
You never know where
you don't know where it's
right.
going to come
That's true.
from. You don't know where
Very
it's
true.
come from. So I can't say, well, you know, Stevie ain't going to write a hit record, or I don't, you know, or Cedric's, you know, he from Rockford, so I don't know. You might have the biggest hit there is.
Yeah.
Even
You know what I'm saying?
Even
But
if you, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, babe.
Even if you're you're saying to yourself, well, I'm just a poet. I just write poetry. Well, lyrics are poetry. In a lot of, in a sense. I mean, if you look at Jill Scott, she's first and foremost a poet. So transferring that poetry to music, it's an art.
Yes. Yes. Real talk.
Y'all ever heard that saying, I ain't turning nothing down but my collar?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's my motto.
Yeah.
I ain't turning nothing down but my collar.
That is so
Yes,
beautiful.
sir.
That is so beautiful.
better be turned down some other stuff.
Watch it, baby. Watch
And well,
it.
then the other thing I like to add to that, you guys, don't be afraid of rejection. Just because I don't like it, don't mean that it's going to be right. It won't be right for somebody else.
Yeah.
And rejection happens all the time. I'll give you an example. When I was one of what, 2 Black artists left on A&M,
Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to talk to what's his name, one of the owners,
Alcafaro.
Al Cafaro. We were in there in a room, and I had an opportunity to tell him that I submitted my first music demo to A&M, and they responded back to me, and they said they didn't know what to do with that music, that it was nice, but they didn't have a genre right now that could handle it. They didn't know what to do with it. And he responded to me, he said, I want to know who that was. I don't know who that was. Who were you corresponding with? So you never know. What's not good for one person may be good for the next. So
Great point. That's such a
They didn't realize they turned down an icon.
man. The queen.
I wanted them to know that they turned me down.
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's
Woo!
yeah.
Oh my God.
And let me tell you what I sent. I said, you remember, it's not what you know. Remember my first demo?
I was going to ask you, do you remember that? I remember you writing that song. I remember that.
Yeah.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, I remember that.
And what was the other one? Lord, How I Need You. And then they ended up recording Lord, How I Need You on my very first project.
Wow.
Wow.
Through A&M, I said, look at God.
Man,
Wow.
that is crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
So don't give
Yeah.
up. Don't take rejection as a no.
Yeah.
I all the time when I first start auditioning for film or that kind of thing, you do auditions and you don't get the part. It's like when you first start getting those rejects, you're like, oh, I'm not cut out for this. I can't do this. I'm not this and I'm not that. And then along the way, you hear artists like Denzel Washington talking about how many times he was rejected before he hit it big. Loretta Devine talking about how many times she was rejected. So don't give up.
Man, it's so good, man. This is so great.
Where one says no, where a million say no, there will be one.
Absolutely. Well, man, we got about another close to about 15 minutes left to the show. I want to get both of your thoughts. We're in a very different time in America right now. We got the COVID-19 pandemic, but more importantly, we got the Black Lives Matter movement, one of the first movements that has not been led by a pastor or a church, but by young Black people in this country. Give me your thoughts on the Black Lives Matter movement and just talk a little bit about that. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
My thoughts are my thoughts on Black Lives Matters is I think it was so long overdue, but right on time. In that, whereas we had so many facets of civil rights movements, Jim Crow and with Martin Luther King, nonviolent peace movement, civil rights for poor people. I'm telling you, I was just sharing with a young man the other day when I was a child, and they were striking when they did the bus strike all over the country, when Black Americans were striking and not riding the bus system, and when they were striking against the schools. I was going to school at a church because my parents were deeply involved in the movement, and we were being schooled by Black teachers at the Black churches. And there was a minister, an older minister, and I don't know, you guys are probably not old enough to remember how they used to sell Jet on a subscription, and people used to come around and sell the Jet on foot.
Wow, I don't remember that. Yeah, I remember the Jet.
Reverend Coleman, absolutely. It's when Jet was first getting off to start. Reverend Holman was the minister's name. Now, I was a kid, but I remember him from this one remark. He spoke before the auditorium when we came together. At the end of the day, everybody would come together and hear leaders, the Black leaders, speak at the end of the day. And this one particular day, I was sitting right on the front, and he came up to speak, and he was talking, great things. I was a child, I didn't understand everything else, but it stuck with me when he said, "This type of racism ain't nothing new. It's just," and this man, he was about 70, around that age. During that time, he said, "This is the same old soup warmed over."
Wow.
Comment I remember him saying as a child. And as I began to look at the situation and reflect, and as pictures of law with their knees on the necks of people, even through the, when I was old enough to understand the 60s and even further back, even with Emmett Till, it's the same soup warmed over. Eric Garner and Trayvon Martin and our children, and the little boy that was in the park playing with a gun, with a toy gun, and gunned down to the ground. And then you see the young white male after killing and shooting people with the machine gun strapped around the front of him, walking toward the police officers, walking toward the car, and them just telling him to move away from the car. If we understand what would have happened had that been one of our young Black boys.
I already know.
This is time. We are on time. Black Lives Matter is on time. And not only do we recognize it, but people of other persuasions recognize it. And even they are joining in the march. Not that they weren't a part of it during the movement with Representative Lewis and Dr. Martin Luther King and Southern Leadership Conference, but at a higher level, they are saying enough. And if you don't understand Black Lives Matter, it's because you don't want to understand. And it's because you don't think Black Lives Matter. Sure, all lives matter, but every life matters, including Black people who built this country.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And just to jump in on that, I definitely am proud of the fact that the Black Lives Matter is going on, but all of us on this Zoom conference are products of the civil rights movement.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are.
We've all benefited from the civil rights movement. So it doesn't give us a pass to sit back and not do anything. So if you can pick up a phone and get on a call to let people know that they need to get out and vote,
Man.
or get your make sure you're registered to vote,
Absolutely.
Yes.
or to get your early ballot, because they're going to try and steal this election. So we need everybody, and I mean everybody, to get out and vote. We need everybody to participate in some kind of way.
Yes, we do.
You know, now we choose not to go out because of COVID virus, but we have other means that we can use this platform. And that's what we have to do. We have to all use our platform to make sure that we let people know it's important, because we have to win this by a landslide. It can't be close. It's got to be a landslide.
I believe it.
The other thing that I want to add is, when we talk about and be about Black Lives Matter, we have to be able to share and love our young people into understanding Black Lives Matter is not an issue for us to cut up and act a fool, because it's expected.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter because we're intelligent. We're 9 times out of 10. We have to do up to 10, whereas anyone else has to just be a 1 or above. We have to do 10.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that we're coming from behind. So when we get an opportunity to say and to represent Black lives, let that representation be all about the kings and queens that we are, that we know that we've had home training.
That's beautiful.
You ain't got to cuss nobody out to make them understand.
That's beautiful.
You just got to stand in a professional and a profound manner and claim and declare who you are and what you're representing.
Real talk. Real talk.
Wow. Wow. Powerful. Thank you so much.
You know,
thank you so much.
3 hours on this, you know. Well, our time is about up. You know, we got about 6 minutes going. 6 minutes.
Yes.
So wow. Yeah.
Thank you both. We're so honored to have both of you on. This has been a great honor for both of us.
Sure.
And to have such such an icon like you on our second show.
Thank you.
I mean, this is a tremendous honor for us. So we want to thank you so much. Thank you and Tim. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you all. We appreciate what you all are doing. We think it's necessary. A lot of times people will think that, oh, well, I'm just a small town guy, and you know, I'm not going to make a difference. But you all can make a difference with this platform. So it's not where you start from, because you know where we both started from. I started from Elm and Avon across the street from Catfish City.
I know.
All right, Rockford, Illinois. So it's not where you start; it's where you finish.
Yeah.
And you guys, what you're doing is admirable, and you definitely we got your back, and we definitely are rooting for you all, and we believe that it's going to be really a big show,
Success,
and a success. So we are definitely proud of you all as well, you know, because you're using your platform.
Absolutely.
You know, and so just keep doing what you're doing, no matter what anybody says or what the numbers look like. Don't worry about the numbers, because like Ann said earlier, if you reach one person, you know, we've done shows. Ann didn't elaborate, but we've done shows where she's ministered through song. We've been in house clubs that are primarily gay. And she's had guys come up to her and say, you know, something you did in this song, it saved my life. You know, it saved my life. I was contemplating suicide.
Mm.
And because of what you did through your music, it saved my life. So
Wow.
it's just moments like that that
Mhm.
make you continue to push on.
Mhm.
Because like Ann said earlier also is that this isn't an easy business. It's hard,
Yes.
you know, but you have to think of the greater greater good.
Mhm.
You know, what are you trying to accomplish? And it's not always about record sales. It's about reaching people and being able to bless people,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, and turning somebody's life around. If it's something you say through a song might turn somebody's life around,
Mhm.
then that's it. That's what it's about,
Mhm.
you know. But a
Wow.
lot of times, young artists get into, oh, I gotta have this many followers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, and we want followers. Go to annesby.com. Go to @AnnNesby on Facebook. Go to @AnnNesby on YouTube. Go
Yeah.
to we want followers. We need followers right now because
Yeah.
of COVID. You know, it's
Yeah.
a whole different ball game. We've had shows postponed because of the COVID.
Mhm.
But like Ann said also earlier, God has been faithful,
Mhm.
and we've been able to do work even though we've been in this situation. We looking out the window
Yeah.
at y'all.
Yeah. That is so
Yes, sir. Hey, we gotta do it. We
And
have to do a part two.
realize that you're raising the consciousness
Yes.
of those artists that are aspiring. They're watching what you're doing and being encouraged. And this kind of information will change their lives. It will spark. God has allowed us to sow seed, and now He will give the increase.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
that is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So how much time we got left, Cedric?
We got about 3 minutes. We got
3 minutes?
It's so
Okay.
many questions
Well,
we got
and
to ask.
right now, what I would like you to do,
Yeah.
I would like you to grab that bottle of barbecue sauce back there.
Right here.
I want you to put it up to the camera real close so people can see what it. No, I want it
Come on up.
up there close.
There you go.
Oh,
Come
There
on
you go.
up.
wait a minute.
Lift
Wait
it
a
up.
minute. To the. There you go.
Center.
There you go. Right there.
Okay, and hold it still.
You see
I know
it?
you got that red cup, but I
There
want
you
you
go.
to.
We know what to look for.
Yeah, and we want everybody to support this company. This
Yeah.
is a Black-owned company, and we
Yes.
want y'all to support it because they're supporting what Cedric and Steve are doing.
And I
with
can't
this.
wait to taste it.
Oh,
Cause
no, off the record, they said they was gonna send us some because I told them what a great clip. See, that's why I was telling y'all up front.
Yeah.
There's nobody better to be in quarantine with than my wife.
because it sound like it got some
Cause
stank on
she
it, some
can, cause
spice on it.
she can throw down.
Hey, you
She
gonna love
throws
it.
down.
You gonna love it.
Hold it up there, Cedric. Hold it up
What's the
there.
name of it?
It's
What's the
called
name of
Mildred.
it?
Mildred's
Hey, Mildred.
Barbecue. Aunt Mildred's.
Yeah.
Aunt Mildred's.
Yep.
Okay, so y'all, they can go online and find it.
Yep. You can go online and find it at www.mildred10.com.
And
Yep.
Okay.
And
all right,
Y'all got that?
for
Y'all
all
got
the
that?
local
Because we
stores,
want to support Black business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is
And
this
what-
a Rockford-based
excuse me.
company?
All the local
They're based in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yep.
Based
It's
in
in
Kansas-
Kansas City,
the-
but you
the
can call
home
our
of
local
barbecue.
rep in Rockford, Illinois at
Woo!
815-229-0792.
Say it again, Cedric.
That's local representative. That's Steve Hansard. That's my brother. You can call him at 815-229-0792.
That's awesome. And
Got it.
everybody, please get out and vote and tell your friends,
Please,
your
man.
cousins,
Better, yeah.
everybody. They ain't
Everybody.
got to go to the poll. Tell them to get their early ballot, get their absentee ballots, so they can get out. You know, so they don't have to expose themselves to the COVID.
Yeah.
And let's get them out to vote.
You know, I was
Yes.
talking beforehand, young people, man, you really make a difference. You don't say you don't make a difference. Well, I don't like either candidate. Man, vote. Vote. Please vote.
We can sort that all out once we do what we got to do.
Yes, yes.
Got it. Listen, we thank you so
How much
much.
time we got, Cedric? Because I got to use the bathroom.
Me
My
too.
legs are shaking up here.
Let me give a couple of announcements.
Okay.
We gotta say happy birthday to Joe Heron.
Woo!
Happy birthday, Joe.
Hey,
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Brother Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Joe. Wish him a happy birthday. And today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his wife, Mother Khadijah, 67th anniversary. Happy anniversary to you.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, 67 years. Yeah.
happy
So-
anniversary.
Yeah, we love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks
God
for
bless.
having us on the show.
Love you. And we gotta do a part 2.
Man.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, it's on.
I mean, there's so much we didn't get a chance to touch on.
Oh,
So,
wow. Sure was.
hey,
Yep.
hey, you know,
Are we
talked
still
about-
on the air?
We're
We're
gonna
still on. We're
Yeah.
still on.
we're gonna let Rockford know that we're gonna come together, and it's gonna be something special for how we're gonna come together and lay out some things for them to be able to get their music business together.
Man,
Wow.
it's so needed, and
Wow.
So
Wow.
needed. Yeah.
Mhm. We're gonna talk
That's
about
awesome.
interviewing skills. We're gonna talk about imaging. We're gonna talk about the business. It's gonna go down. There's
That's
so many of
Wow.
us
That's
that,
what I'm
that
talking
have different skills. We're gonna talk about accounting. We're gonna talk about instrumental work and how to get yourself set up for that. We need to pull it together.
Beautiful.
Yes. Beautiful. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, it's been
I
another
think we
great
should have a
show.
show with Psalms 100 on the show.
We
We got one coming up.
We got
Yeah.
one coming up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Yes, it's coming up real soon. And we
It's
love
a
you. Thank you
pleasure.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all for having me.
Yes. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time for another episode of Steve and Cedric talking to the band. Later, y'all.
Woohoo!
Later on.
Later.